Okay, second to the last, the endocrine. Okay, let's go to the important points for your endocrine system. So review, these are the different parts of your endocrine system, your pituitary, pineal, thyroid, thymus, adrenals, ovaries, testes, pancreas, and your parathyroids. So here, this image is found in your book also, so you can review through it. Homeostasis. What is homeostasis, ma'am? It is achieved through coordination of chemical messengers. So, your homeostasis is actually how your body maintains balance in everything. Like, if there's decreased blood sugar, okay, something happens inside your body that actually increases the sugar naman in your body. Okay? Chemical messengers allow cells to communicate with each other to regulate body activities. Here, homeostasis is in other words regulation. Regulation, it regulates your body body functions, body mechanisms. So, pag may naging abnormal sa loob ng katawan mo lang din ang gumagawa ng paraan para maging normal siya. Okay? Categories of chemical messengers, we have autocrine, paracrine, neurotransmitters, and endocrine chemical messengers. So here, this is also found in your book. So makikita ang description and examples for your chemical messengers. So for endocrine, it is secreted into the blood by specialized cells, travels some distance to target tissues, and results in coordinated regulation of cell function. So, hormones. These are the hormones. Yan. Functions of your endocrine system. We have metabolism, control of fluid intake and digestion. Ang metabolism is how your body metabolize energy. For example, if you eat food, your food is being digested in your body and energy is being released and consumed by your body. So, that's metabolism. Control of fluid intake and digestion, tissue development, ion regulation, and water balance. So these are the functions of your endocrine system. We also have heart rate and blood pressure regulation, control of blood glucose and other nutrients, control of reproductive functions, uterine contractions and milk release, and immune system regulation. Okay, the word endocrine comes from the terms endo and crino. Endo means within, sa loob. Crino means to secrete or magpalabas. Endocrine glands and cells secrete minute amounts of chemical messengers called hormones to the bloodstream. Hormones travel to target tissues. So, ano bang target tissues? For example, ang hormones, nagta-travel siya papunta sa heart mo, nagta-travel siya papunta sa muscles mo, sa kidney, sa liver, ganyan. Lipid-soluble hormones. So, they are non-polar, insoluble in water, travels in the blood through binding protein. So, kailangan niya ng binding protein, ang lipid-soluble. Pag water-soluble, it circulates as free hormones. Hindi na niya kailangan ng binding proteins. So, these are polar molecules, meaning meron siyang charges. Kasi ang water ay H+. H2O, di ba? H2O, hydrogen. So, meron na naman siyang electrical charge. So, ibig sabihin, polar siya or polarized siya. Pag lipid, wala siyang charge, non-polar. Okay, so your water-soluble hormones can dissolve in the blood. It circulates as free hormones and delivered to the target tissue without attaching to a binding protein. Again ang lipid kailangan pa ng binding protein, ang water-soluble hormones hindi na. Okay, stimulation of hormone release. First, may hormone release tayo due to humoral stimuli. For example, a rise in blood glucose levels triggers the pancreatic release of insulin. Ibig sabihin, a humoral stimulus refers to a control of hormone release in response to changes in extracellular fluids. So, pag may nag-change sa bloodstream mo, for example, let's say, marami kang kinain na cake. So, nati-trigger na ma-release ang insulin from your pancreas. Dahil may nangyari may nag-change ng levels, let's say changes in levels in glucose, changes in levels in sodium, potassium, things like that. So something in your body will also release, a hormone will be released para ma-counteract siya. Okay? Neural stimuli. Okay, so may pasulat-sulat effect pa ako dito sa gilid. Sana naman inyong pag-aralan. Okay, ano ang neural? Kanina humoral. Humoral tayo. Pag humoral, may nag-change sa bloodstream mo. at merong hormone na na-release dahil sa changes. Dito, ang neural stimuli, neurons release neurotransmitter into the synapse with the cells that produce hormone. Releasing hormones come from hypothalamus. For example, the neuropeptides, ayan. So this is the explanation, let's say, my own version of making things easier for you to understand. Okay, so during exercise, syempre, pag exercise, may nangyayari, may requirement tayo. So, kailangan natin ng energy, kailangan natin mag-burn ng fats, ng sugar, para magkaroon ng energy. So, pag nag-exercise ka na, ang body mo, nagsisend ng signals doon sa brain, sa sympathetic nervous system, sa brain mo. Hey, kailangan ko ng energy kasi nga mag-e-exercise ako. So, dahil sinabi ng brain, oy, kailangan pala ng energy kasi nag-e-exercise. So, na-stimulate siya, magre-release siya ngayon ng hormone. Meron tayong epinephrine and norepinephrine hormones. These hormones increase our heart rate. Kaya pag ikaw ay nag-e-exercise, ang heart mo rin ay nagpapump ng malakas. Kasi nga, nag-release ang brain mo ng epinephrine and norepinephrine. Pag nag-increase ang heart rate mo, there is increase in blood flow to your muscles. So, ang muscle, ang oxygen requirement, ang energy requirement, ang electrical requirement ng muscles mo ay nami-meet para makaya mong mag-exercise dahil ang brain mo ay nag-react na sa pinagagagawa mo. Ay, nag-exercise siya. Okay, mag-release tayo ng epinephrine and norepinephrine. So, ito yun. Neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitters to. Epinephrine and norepinephrine. Okay? Alright? Okay pa sa alright? Alright. Okay, so pangalawa yun ha. First, humoral. Second, neural, which involves your brain. So, dito, involve ang brain dyan, pero background lang siya. Kung sabaga, ang pinanggalingan ng release ng hormone dito, may nag-change sa dugo mo Parang may nag-increase, may nag-decrease, kaya may hormone na na-release. Dito, neural, from the word neuro, utak. Galing sa utak mo, sympathetic nervous system. Kaya na-release itong mga hormones. Okay? And we have hormonal. Hormonal stimuli. This occurs when a hormone is secreted that in turn stimulates the secretion of another hormone. Okay. So for example, na-release na yung isang hormone. Dahil na-release ang isang hormone, na-release din yung isang hormone. Ganon. Magkapatid kayo, lumabas yung isa, lumabas din yung isa. Parang ganon. Okay. Wait. Ganito siya. Ito hormone release. Na good release and inhibition. Wait lang, dito muna tayo. Okay, hormonal stimuli. Hormones from hypothalamus and pituitary gland regulate secretion of thyroid hormones from the thyroid gland. Okay. So this is found in your book, endocrine cell, hormone secreted. Here, the neuron. So this is more or less the neural. Okay, ito pala. Sorry. Neural innervation. So, the neurons are sending the signal. So, the stimulatory neurotransmitter, ang endocrine cell mo ay magre-release ng hormone. Dahil nga, may nangyari sa brain. Like, for example, if you're going to exercise. As my example earlier. Okay. So, for this one naman ay ang hormonal regulation. So, may nag-release. First, may na-release ng isang hormone na stimulate muna, for example, the hypothalamus and your pituitary gland. Nag-release siya ng hormone. Yan. Ito. Pagpunta niya sa target endocrine cell, nag-release ulit ng hormone dito. So, dalawang hormone ang na-release. Dahil may na-release na isang hormone, may isa pang hormone na na-release. Sana naintindihan nyo, Okay, number 4. Inhibition of hormone release by humoral stimuli. So, let us explain it through this. So, I have drawn. Sana clear lang ito. For example, nakikita naman siguro, in your body, if we have a low BP, if you have a low blood pressure, your adrenal cortex is being stimulated. Sinasabi sa utak mo, ay, low yung BP natin. So, kailangan mag-release ng aldosterone hormone. Ang aldosterone hormone ay nag-i-increase ng BP natin. So, as I have told you earlier, dahil sa homeostasis or homeostatic capability of our body, ang body natin ay meron siyang positive and negative feedback. Pag may nag-i-increase, too much increase in something, pinupull down yan ng katawan mo mismo. Uy, sobrang increase na, pa-lower natin. Ay, sobrang low na, pa-increase natin ng konti. Ganyan kagaling ang katawan mo, automatic siya. So, pag low ang BP mo, nare-release itong aldosterone hormone para ma-increase ang BP mo. Na-increase na yung BP mo, nag-high naman yung BP mo. So, ang iyong heart atria naman ay na-i-stimulate para mag-release din ng ANP. Atria natriuretic peptide. Itong atria natriuretic peptide ay nag-decrease ng blood pressure natin. So, eto na. Same humoral stimulus. Ano ibig sabihin ng same humoral stimulus? Same stimulus here, BP. The same humoral stimulus. We are talking about the blood pressure, but there are two different hormones that are involved in that. So your blood pressure can be increased by your aldosterone, which is your hormone 1. Pag nasobrahan naman ng increase ang BP mo, marirelease na din itong ANP, which is your atria natriuretic peptide. Naintindihan ba? Ayan o. Parehas na humoral stimulus, nagkakaroon ng hormone release pero magkaibang hormone. Hormone 1, yung unang nangyari kasi low yung BP mo, so hormone 1 good release. Compensate yung katawan mo. O yung hormone 2 naman, kasi nasobrahan naman din, kunyari sige-siging release ng hormone na yan, kaya nag-increase ang BP mo. So, kailangan na niyang pababain, magre-release ulit siya ng hormone 2, which is the inhibited release. Ano ang inhibition? Para pigilan. So, hindi rin kasi pwedeng increase lang ng increase yung BP. Kailangan din siyang pigilan para maging normal. So, i-regulate siya. That is where regulation goes into or in between. Yan. Inhibition of hormone release by neural stimuli. Inhibitory neurotransmitter stops endocrine gland from secreting hormone. Inhibition of hormone released by hormonal stimuli. Some hormones prevent secretion of other hormones. A common way to control hormonal levels. Okay? Ayan, so na-mention ko to kanina, di ba? Negative and positive feedback. So, negative feedback is the stopping of the secretion of a certain hormone para ma-maintain ang balance. Ang positive feedback naman ay promoting further secretion or sige, mag-release ka pa para ma-normalize din yung kung ano man ang nangyayari sa katawan mo. Okay? So, ang positive ay mag-release, ang negative ay mag-stop ng release para ma-maintain ang balance ng katawan. Okay, there. What are receptors? So cell receptors, including hormone receptors, are special protein found within and on the surface of certain cells throughout the body, including breast cells. So they are the eyes and ears of the cells, receiving messages from substances in the bloodstream and then telling the cells what to do. So for hormone classes, we have 1, peptide, 2nd, we have lipid, and then 3rd, monoamine. Okay, so let's go to the endocrine gland and their hormones. Ayan. The pituitary gland. Your pituitary gland is an important pea-sized organ. Napakaliit lang nito. If your pituitary gland doesn't function properly, it affects vital parts of your body like your brain, skin, your energy, your mood, your reproductive organs, vision, growth, and more. It is the master gland because it tells other glands to release hormone. Yan siya. Your pituitary gland. So we have the anterior and the posterior, and pea-sized lang siya ha, pea-sized, pero ang dami niyang hormone, growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, ACTH, melanocyte, luteinizing, follicle, prolactin, antidiuretic hormone, oxytocin. Ganun siya ka-powerful, kaya ang tawag sa kanya master gland. Okay? Thyroid gland. It is a vital hormone gland, plays a major role in the metabolism, growth, and development of the human body. It helps to regulate many body functions by constantly releasing a steady amount of thyroid hormones into the bloodstream. Steady amount. Okay? This is your thyroid gland. Here, so we have the thyroxine, triiodothyronine, and calcitonin. Parathyroid gland. So, it is responsible for the release of calcium by bones into the bloodstream. Diba? Na-mention to kanina sa skeletal system. yung parathyroid gland, parathyroid hormone. Ayan, absorption of calcium from food by the intestines, conservation of calcium by the kidneys, and stimulates cells in the kidneys to transform weaker forms of vitamin D into the form that is strongest at absorbing calcium from the intestines. So, parathyroid glands, parathyroid hormone. They can be found in the bone and kidney. Ayan. Okay, so for the adrenal medulla, it produces hormones required for healthy life. It produces hormones involved in fight or flight response, like the catecholamines, adrenaline type hormones such as epinephrine and norepinephrine. Okay, so epinephrine and norepinephrine are also triggered or stimulated by neurotransmitters because they are released from your brain. Okay? Adrenal medulla, di ba? Adrenal medulla nandoon sa brain. Ayan. Okay, so ayan, adrenal medulla, epinephrine mostly, and it functions from your heart, blood vessels, liver, and fat cells. The adrenal cortex. The adrenal cortex produces hormones that control sex, salt balance in the blood, and sugar balance. So we have androgens, estrogens. Androgens are the male hormones and estrogens are the female hormones. Okay? Yan, adrenal cortex. We have the aldosterone, glucocorticoids, and adrenal androgens. So these are the affected areas. The pancreas. The endocrine component of the pancreas consists of the islet cells or the islet of Langerhans that create and release important hormones directly into the bloodstream. So these are the pancreatic hormones. We have the insulin, your glucagon. So maintaining proper blood sugar levels is crucial to the functioning of key organs including the brain, liver, and kidneys. Yes, so that is why if you are diabetic, more or less, your kidneys are damaged and your liver is also damaged. Kasi your pancreas is the one that releases insulin and glucagon. Here, insulin, glucagon. So they affect the liver, skeletal muscles, the adipose tissues, and the liver. The testes. The testes secretes testosterone, which is necessary for proper physical development in boys. In adulthood, testosterone maintains libido. Libido is your sex drive, muscle strength, and bone density. Okay? O, ayan ang testes. Releases testosterone. Then we have the ovaries. Ovaries produce and release two groups. Then we have the ovaries. Ovaries produce and release two groups of sex hormones, the progesterone and estrogen. There are actually three major estrogens known as estradiol, estrone, and estriol. These substances work together to promote the healthy development of female sex characteristics during puberty and to ensure fertility. Yan. So the progesterone and estrogen are necessary to prepare the uterus for menstruation, and their release is triggered by the hypothalamus. So there, estrogen, progesterone. So in target tissue is, most tissues. The uterus. In the uterus, you have the prostaglandins. Prostaglandins are known to regulate the female reproductive system and are involved in the control of ovulation. Kailan ka ba nagre-release ng egg cell? The menstrual cycle and induction of labor. Okay, so manufactured forms of prostaglandins are sometimes used to induce labor. So, ini-inject siya para magkaroon ng uterine contraction at mag-start yung labor ng isang babaeng due na manganak. So, yan, uterus, ovaries. And then thymus. The thymus is a primary lymphoid organ recognized as having both immune and endocrine functions. Its major immune role is to act as the site where T lymphocytes mature before being released into general circulation. T cells play many diverse immune roles such as specific immunity. Thymosin. The hormone in the thymus is called thymosin. So it promotes immune system development and function. Then we have the pineal gland. This gland is located in the middle of the brain. It makes the hormone melatonin. So what does melatonin do? It inhibits secretion of gonadotropin-releasing hormone, thereby inhibiting reproduction. So pinipigilan niya ang reproduction. Okay? So that's it. If you have more questions for the endocrine system, then just approach me when we do the return demos or during our health assessment class in the future. Okay?